I'm kind of curious if you're a supplier and you're interested in getting involved in Shure or like supplying to Shure, what's the best pathway to find an entry to onboard as a vendor? Is it meeting with the category manager? Is it meeting with an engineer? Do you guys have like an online intake form, which is like, hey, if you want to make yourself known to us, just fill something out here? I'm kind of curious thinking about the supplier's perspective,
Honestly, that's a really good question. A lot of because of kind of some of the parameters that I outlined earlier, a lot of where we've had good fortune with finding suppliers is somebody that you've worked with in the past. So a lot of networking. What we try to do is we try to have either leverage the engineer's previous experience, the supplier quality's previous experience, our commodity management's previous experience, combined with any kind of the research that's available out there and do the outreach. Now, occasionally, suppliers, you'll get a cold call or something like that where it looks interesting, you vet them and go through that. But that can be a bit arduous as well because one, it's luck of the draw on the supplier side. Two, some people will go on a complete shotgun approach where anybody that they can get their email, they'll start hitting them. And at that point, it's like, this isn't how we do business. So thank you, but no thank you. So it's, that's a good question. And that's honestly something that we should consider probably a little bit more so is if somebody wants to do outreach to us, what the best path is to do. Possibly with some level, this one would be difficult because a self-assessment is always difficult without knowing exactly what you're getting into, but some level of a pre-qualification saying, look, I might be a good fit based on these parameters rather than a shotgun approach.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because I remember with certain companies, like, I met the team at Caterpillar when I was at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show earlier this year. And I sort of met with some folks. And I was like, hey, what's the best way to make, because LightSource is a vendor too, right? We're just in the software category. I said, well, what's the best way to meet the folks who may benefit from what we have to offer? And they said, we have a supplier intake form. And so you can fill it out and you put in some basic information, then it gets stored in our database. And if somebody needs to draw on new vendors, they might look through it. Now, of course, there's no feedback and you don't know. You feel like you're shooting the cannon out into outer space. Who knows, if it'll ever come back. But it is interesting to think about the structured process. Like, how do we make ourselves available to suppliers to like advertise what they've got going on? Because there's so many folks out there that we may not even be aware of.